Hello. We just wrapped up the Resort and Residential Hospitality Forum 2025, and it was such an exciting couple of days. Really had a lot of fun, really wonderful sessions. So, starting with Jonathan, what were your impressions of this year's proceedings?
I think generally a very positive atmosphere. I mean, we started out on Tuesday morning with the Investor Council, which had generally a very positive vibe to it. And I think the things that were lending positivity were a few things, which was, number one, interest rates are falling. That always pleases investors. It makes projects easier to fund, and that's a message that came through. The other thing, a little bit counterintuitively, is that demand is forecast to rise. Now that fosters a very positive mood towards development. So I think generally they're looking forward to the rest of this year and into 2026 that we're going to see more transaction activity, private equity coming forward even more than they do now, banks being more willing to lend. They certainly can see through the cycle of the sector. That gives them comfort, and with the positive demand attributes, they can see that coming back as well.
Well, I mean, for sure. I mean, there's still deal flow, but it is for sure. I mean, the market has changed in the last 10 years. So as I said before, I mean, 10 years ago, I mean, you find very good opportunities at very low prices, and now market dynamics has changed. Performance of the market has also changed, but we still see that there are opportunities. I mean, for value add reconversions.
These deals will always take time, regardless of what type of market we're in. When you're buying from families, I mean, I think we have a lot of sympathy towards the fact that they only sell once their business, right? So that's what takes the most, that's what's most complex, right? It's an emotional decision on the other end, whereas it's a rational decision on our end to make sure that, we're buying the family's legacy effectively. So it's always a bit more complicated.
And Julie?
Well, that really feeds through everything that we talked about this year at R&R. This was the 10th anniversary of the R&R Forum. It started in 2015 in Spain, looking at the Mediterranean region primarily. And over the years, it's evolved in this amazing event that brings together the leisure hospitality community of investors, developers, operators, brands, designers, and all of the stakeholders around. And you could really feel this positivity for the leisure hospitality sector, talking about the opportunities, the destinations, the types of assets, the amenities, and the experience and storytelling that goes through all of this. But interestingly, there was a lot more talk around the branded residential market and how it fits within the leisure hospitality, and that's your area, Ife, isn't it?
Yeah, I do love to talk about branded residences. So did you get any takeaways from the branded residences aspect?
I did, yes. That we talk a lot about brand premium, and there is no doubt, as we saw in the Savills presentation, that there is a brand premium attached to the sale of real estate to branded residential. So that's a positive. What came through quite strongly, was that one of the key factors in financial viability is sales velocity.
First and foremost, we sensitize everything. We also, we try to maintain a certain flexibility, which is only possible at the level that, we're operating at, unlike the true 5-star. So if something isn't going to sell, we're putting it in inventory.
I would kind of divide the sales velocity into several parts. One, I think, is the right brand, real estate, always the location, and the branding and the product, as you said, I think is the first piece. And if that's not done properly, it's very difficult to sell.
Early on in the conference, we had a really amazing presentation from keynote speaker Zinnia Wickett. What can we take away from her presentation?
Properties need to be flexible to adapt to new consumer demand, and this really impacts leisure demand, traveler demand, and behavior, and that's how what we see in the properties that are being discussed here at R&R.
Yeah, I think an interesting point that Xenia made in particular was how much is going on in the Middle East in terms of building destinations, mixed use.
What they're finding is that high-end individuals, luxury individuals, want to actually step away from their cell phones, from their iPads, from their computers. And so they're thinking quite differently about how do you integrate technologies.
there was a lot of talk about experiences and authenticity, especially at our closing session just now. Really wonderful presentation from Jonathan Bayfield. And I just wanted to ask what key pieces of advice that delegates should take with them moving forward in terms of experiences and keeping that authenticity.
One of the anecdotes that Johnny Bayfield mentioned was guests going through a hotel admiring the lavender, and yet they still got a bottle of olive oil at the end of the stay, as opposed to a lovely pot of lavender seeds or something. So it's being attuned to what guests are talking about and reacting to that. I mean, it's a pretty old-fashioned thing that runs through hospitality, but even more essential now in order to maintain that competitive edge.
And I think what we can look forward to is what all of these conversations will feed in our future event. We'll still talk about branded residencies a lot more, including at IHIF in Berlin in March. We had a whole new group of investors who are looking into leisure hospitality as a new part of a way of expanding their portfolio that didn't attend the event before. We had 500 people, which is even greater than previous years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we continue the conversation at our other events.
And that's a great teaser to our 2026 event. So please don't miss out and come around. It will be fun.